Okay, it is Motivation Monday. We are live across both channels. Just checking everything is working. Hello, you're most welcome. I am Lisa Barways. This is Motivation Monday. We're live here every Monday at 3 p.m. GMT to motivate you mostly, but also to talk about all things body shape change, specifically for women, over 35 who struggle maybe with exercise and healthy eating, who need some help with understanding what they can do. And today's topic specifically is how to build your inner word so that you will do anything that you say you'll do. Okay, how good would that be? How good would that be to build your inner word so that anything that you say that you'll do it? Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. So as people are joining in live, I would love to know where it is you're coming from. Do give us a thumbs up or any sort of emoji. And I'm going to talk today, it is about motivation, which is really cool. And as people are coming on board, I can see people joining us live. You're most welcome. As they're coming on board, I want to introduce myself. So if you've never seen me live before, hello. Well, first of all, where have you been? Only joking. My name is Lisa Barwise, and I consider myself a wellness alchemist. That means I'm the kick-ass catalyst in the transformation of women around the world, strong of mind, body, and character. And I consider myself the catalyst, the spark, the motivational burst that you need to achieve the body shape change and a body that you're proud of, even in your 40s. So I'm the creator of Warrior Goddess Kettlebell Training and the Warrior Goddess Body online programs, and I'm here to talk to you today about how to build that inner promise so that you will do anything that you'll say that you'll do. How cool would that be? So how cool will it be to say, I'm going to go and work out today, and then you do it? Or how cool will it be to be able to say, I'm going to eat and follow my plan today and stick to my plan? So the first question I want to ask you based on this is, can you remember a time when you just felt really good in your body? Can you remember a time when you were feeling more energetic, or you felt like you were really on it, when you felt like you were in control, when you felt like you were empowered? Can you remember a time? What did that look like for you? So for me, when I think about the times when I'm really feeling really good, really focused, really confident, really like on a roll, really high energy, really like in control, etc., it's generally when I have created a series of really healthy habits that have been able, that when I do those habits, I am able to achieve the thing that I want. So I'll give you an example. One of the big things that I did in my life, many milestones I have achieved over the while, but one that I can remember that really comes to mind right now is to do with running. So I used to run. Don't run anymore because now I do strength training, but I used to run, and I did train and ran a marathon it was about 7 or 8 years ago. And I was so consistent. I created a plan. I told myself I was going to do 3 runs a week, and I did a big run at the weekend, and I did that consistently for 6 months. Now you're probably thinking, well, that was easy for you because you're probably naturally athletic. I mean, you are a personal trainer. You're probably naturally motivated and that sort of thing. I'm here to tell you, I am not motivated one bit. In fact, the only reason that I do what I do now is because I made it my job to turn up all day, every day. Yeah. So I am not the most motivated person in the world. In fact, would not consider myself motivated. But what I have done, and what I'm very smart and being able to do, is first of all, build myself some habits that make it easier for me to build that inner promise. Okay, so I've built some habits. I've also built this inner promise, this inner will within myself, that when I say that I'm going to do something, that I do it. Okay, and how do I do that? Very simply. So the way that I have done that, when I first started that marathon training, I had not run more than maybe a mile. Okay, I used to run a mile maybe on a treadmill, or I'd go for a walk and I'd run a bit. That was kind of the extent of it. But what I did build up was, I'm going to go for a run, and then I went for a run. I built up this inner word, this inner will that I had, which takes 2 parts. One, having the goal and why you're doing the thing and being driven by that internal motivation, that emotional motivation, but also understanding that I needed to build that inner promise to myself that if I said I was going to do a run, I was going to do it. So what I did was I just set myself up for success and created some habits Oh, okay, I will come back to you. Sure, absolutely. I set myself up with some habits of, how can I achieve these goals? How can I achieve these habits? And I did the simple things, like the things that we do every day without thinking about is a habit, okay? Things that we do, it's just part of who we are. It's a habit that we created that are part of who we are. Think about cleaning your teeth. It's the most easy example. Most of us, like 9 out of 10, unless you're a little bit gross, clean our teeth in the mornings, clean our teeth in the evenings. Maybe we clean our teeth in the middle of the day. I know I do that too. But we at least clean our teeth once a day. And that's what we do. Yeah? So that's a habit that we've created. Now we teach our children these habits too. And they have time, at the beginning trying to teach your child to clean their teeth. It takes a little while for them to get into that groove. And the same with my running. I just put my running gear up. If I told myself I was going to go for a run, I would put that running gear out ready the night before. I would be able to jump straight into it and I would go. So that was me setting up my environment for success, to the point then during that training that if I said I was going to go for a run, nothing stopped me. There was nothing that stopped me then, because even though in the moment that I wanted to go for a run or knew I had to do it, did I want it? No. But I had told myself I was going to do it. The other way that you can build this inner promise, and this is one of the things that we're going to be doing as part of our next 90-day challenge. So every couple of months, as part of our Warrior Goddess Kettlebell Training Tribe, we have a 90-day challenge. Now, we've been doing 28-day challenges. We've been trying all these different 6-week challenges, but the 90-day challenge is the one that has worked the most. And we're about to embark on a 90-day challenge, and it's going to be focusing on creating healthy habits based on the goal, based on something that you're wanting to achieve. And one of the key things that I have put in this is that one of the things I want people to measure over the 90 days, whether they choose 3 different ones or for 30 days, they're basically going to do this thing for 30 days, is that you choose to give up something that you know is not really serving you toward your goal. Something not to do with like weight loss, or not to do with dieting or any of those sorts of things. Nothing to do with the numbers on the scale, but it could be a food group or coffee or alcohol or something like that that doesn't serve you. And the reason why we're doing this is because this is where I started to learn my inner promise the most. I've been a vegetarian since I was 13, and that was something that I realized I developed an inner promise very quickly. But that was, as a teenager. But what I realized was I was very good at that. So when I did then decide that I was going to give up dairy, the thought of giving up cheese was horrendous. Gonna be honest, cheese was my friend. But I thought, right, I'm going to try this. I'm not going to take, any milk in my tea anymore. I'm going to try different milks. I'm going to try, not consuming cheese. Let's see if I can do this for 30 days. And I gave myself just a goal of giving something up for 30 days that I thought was not going to be good for me, but also to see the effects of it. And also because I wanted to see if I told myself, I'm not going to do this, would I do it? And I gave that up. I mean, I very rarely eat cheese at all right now. I very rarely eat any dairy at all. But that was maybe, 6-7 years of slowly just giving up something for a certain amount of time, seeing how I felt in my body, because that's what's really important. This process is about that inner word, building that inner word, and giving up something has a greater power in building that inner will, that inner word, that inner promise, that adding something will never get, in my opinion, okay? You need to feel a little bit of a sense of loss, but that loss actually empowers you. And that's why, as part of our 90-day challenge, that's what we always add in there. So how do you build that inner word? Very simply, you pick one thing that you think no longer serves you, one thing that you know that if you gave up would actually add more energy, would actually make things easier, would you think it might be holding you back. Anything from... Okay, I will. Yes, Nick, I'll happily answer that in a wee second. So the question is, for me, what can I give up that's not serving me? So, I've done Sober October this month just to see and how that feels. It's my birthday month next month. I might still give it up. I might go back to having a couple of drinks here and there. But I've tried just for October to do a Sober October. The other thing that I wanted, that I did throughout my life is I've given up gluten. I no longer consume any wheat-based or gluten-based products. But that didn't start with me just going, I'm going to give that up. That started with me going, right, well, let's see what it's like if I give it up for a few days. How does that feel in my body? But so it's always worked out for me that when I built my inner word, my inner promise, that's when I felt stronger. When I knew that if I said I was going to do something, that I did it, that's how I did it. And I did it day by day, step by step. And there's going to be times where life is going to challenge you and curveballs are going to come in. But it's really important for you to stick to that inner word with just one thing first and foremost. So rather than going on a diet, rather than any of that sort of thing, this is about building that inner word, because the more stronger you get with building that inner word, the more stronger you get with having that sense of believing yourself, building your confidence, building your self-belief, then you can add things later on. So it's much easier that if you are trying to, work on body shape change, if you are trying to motivate yourself for exercise, if you are trying to motivate yourself for what is kind of bigger things, then that's how to do that. Then the other person, yes, somebody has mentioned there about people who would love to keep fit, but they just don't have the mobility or illness, etc. So I actually covered this in a video the other week. Nick, who's on Instagram, has asked me this. He says, a lot of people out there that would love to keep fit, but unable due to sickness or mobility. So here is the thing. I covered that. What do you do? How to motivate yourself if you're in pain, if you're sick, or if you are tired, are the three things, because you can't be motivated in those three instances. So what can you do? And guess what? What I'm saying here 100% applies, because although you can't maybe choose the actions of moving your body in terms of going for a run or moving your body in terms of going to the gym, etc., there are things that you're probably doing, habits that are probably holding you back, that are maybe even contributing to additional pain, additional issues in their body. I get so many questions, so many messages, so many people talking to me who have, autoimmune issues, who have energy-based fatigue issues like fibromyalgia, like ME and MS, and people who have other, like plantar fasciitis, who have other conditions in their shoulders and their knees. I also have people who believe that they have issues with their gut beyond IBS, etc., and ask me, how do I stick to a program? How do I stick to a nutrition program? How do I stick to a fitness program? And here's the one thing that I would say. We all know that moving our body, whatever moving our body is for you, we're going to unpack that in a minute, is one of the most important things you can do to overcome anxiety and overcome that feeling of helplessness. So moving your body for somebody who is less able or disabled could be meditating. Okay, so sometimes meditation can be moving your body, because although they're not allowed to do a lot of physical movements, having a meditation practice is one of the most life-changing things you can do in terms of feeling empowered. If you are somebody who is in a wheelchair or doesn't have the range of motion in certain parts of their body, you still have other parts of your body that you can move, right? So, and I'm not saying that pain is an excuse, but I have seen, and I've worked with quite a few clients who are overcoming some serious physical issues as well as, mental and emotional issues to working out. And every single one of them who has chosen to move their body, whether it be every day for a couple of minutes or once a week or twice a week, but getting close to doing something every day, it has completely changed their life. So how do you get motivated to make that first step? The only way that I know how to motivate somebody to make that first step is to come on here and talk to them, or get them to seek out a buddy or somebody who can teach them, well, what can you do? So if you're stuck in a wheelchair and you still have use of your arms, well, there you go. There's lots of things you can do to move the upper part of your body. If you are somebody who's always in pain, maybe I'll have fibromyalgia or muscular issues or things like that, then it's even more essential that you find some way to move your body, because the movement of the body will counteract the pain, will give you that sense of being empowered. And in my experience, when you start moving, you start eating better. When you start eating better, you might even actually get to the underlying causes of a lot of these conditions and pain. What I found personally is that this time last year, I had an injury that was confounded by inflammation, chronic inflammation. The chronic inflammation came from me having a leaky gut. Now, I was in pain every single day for probably about 6 weeks. And the pain was actually quite intense. It was in my neck and shoulder. I had limited range of motion. I'd limited strength. Suddenly went from being really strong to not being strong at all in my right side. And it was very difficult for me because that's never happened to me before. I'm very healthy and very fit. So I was trying to figure out what had gone wrong. But a couple of bad habits had creeped back in. A couple of bad habits had creeped back in terms of my diet. I was consuming more inflammatory products. Dairy had crept back in. We talked about that earlier. I was having cheese on occasion, or maybe some things like that. And although I thought I was okay with that because I thought I can reintroduce those into my body, no is the answer. So eventually I sought out, after going to the doctor and taking really strong painkillers and going to a physio for 2 months, I sought out my healthcare practitioner, my kinesiologist, who did diagnose me with a leaky gut, which is all to do with inflammation and candida buildup, and was told that I needed to follow a certain diet and exclusion plan that also had some supplements for a 6-week period. And within 2 weeks I felt 100% better, as in 100 times better, I should say. And then it was by about week 3 and week 4 that I completely felt better, but I knew I still had 2 more weeks to follow the practice to make sure that the work was done. That was the hardest 2 weeks, because you'll be motivated when you're in pain, right? You'll be motivated to change, because if you're in pain, you're like, I'll do anything. If you tell me to do this, if I'm in pain, I will do it. But when that pain or that situation wears off and you still have to do the thing that's a little bit awkward and a little bit annoying, how do you keep going with that? Well, how I do that and how I've built my inner word to myself is all the things that I've told you today. Is I have figured out, if I give up something and if I stick to that, how I feel about myself, and building that self-belief. And then I apply those habits in a different way. So then I make it easy for me to do the things. So it's now got to the point where exercise is just a habit. You know, my morning routines are just habits. They just are things that I do every day. The way that I eat is just a habit. It's just the way that it is. You know, and then at the weekend there, I was out for dinner, and I'm doing Sober October. I told myself I was giving up alcohol for the month of October. I was quite happy with my cups of tea and hanging out with my friends, so I didn't in any way feel left out. I was just like, okay. And then I got to drive home, and it was rainy, and I was so glad because I could just get into my car and go straight home. So in some ways, I was able to move through that. So here is my question to you. What would it look like in your life if you had the ability that anything that you say that you're going to do, that you do? What would that be worth to you in your life? What would your life look like if you had that skill, that ability, that resource, that belief in yourself, right? So how are we going to do that? So we're going to do that together over the next 90 days, starting from the 1st of November, the hardest 3 months of the year, I like to think. We are going to be completing our 90-day challenge. So ladies within my studio, my VIP members, will have access to that. We also have a VIP online tribe who will also be able to access that. So what we're going to be doing is, you sign up for the challenge, you'll get access to our new Goddess Got Goals journal to teach you how to set goals, to teach you these rhythms and habits, and how to help you to find your 5 that you're, based on it. We're all going to do 5 of our morning and evening routine, and everybody does those things. And then there might be 1 or 2 little extra things that you will track in terms of trying to achieve or work your way toward your goal. And then the other part is you giving up something to prove to yourself that you can do it. Something that you eat, something that you consume, or something that you do that no longer serves you. And that's what we're going to do as part of our next 90-day challenge. So if you're wanting to be involved, if you're not based in our studio, if you're not even a woman, this is okay for you too, you can access our challenge. So I've got just a sign up group at this moment. We're looking to add all the extra resources because we've got a couple of weeks, obviously. So you can go to warriorgoddesskettlebelltraining.com/challenge, and in there you can sign up just to register your information. What we're going to do is help you to learn how to set goals, learn how to build that inner word, learn how to create these habits, and I'm going to teach you all of the processes that you need to be able to build that sense of self-belief, to achieve anything that your heart desires without this sense of guilt and without having to grind yourself into the ground. And that's what Goddess Got Goals is all about. So I hope that was helpful for you. I will be posting this video out as always to my email list. If you're looking to get added to our email list and you're not already on that, you can click the link in my bio here on Instagram to access the blog, and you can sign up there, or you can reach out to me and send me a PM with your email address, and I'll add you to the email, because we send this out on a regular basis as well. But I hope that was helpful. I hope you heard something today that resonated with you, that made you think, okay, I can start moving my body, I can start creating these habits, I can make good choices for me to get me closer to my goals. And again, imagine what it would be like to be able to wake up every day and do the thing that you say you're going to do. Like, what is that worth to you? Have a think about that. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. I can't wait to see you again. Same time next Monday, 3 p.m. GMT. And until then, have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. Peace out.